Hello, y'all. Welcome to the live. I apologize for the tardiness. Work with us, life be lifing. But I'm about to send a request to Rondell so we can get this show on the road. Make sure you comment, is dating spooky? Make sure you comment some scenarios or some things that we should talk about in this live tonight. I will do, a more better introduction when we get our guest on here. But thanks for joining. I know I haven't been on this page in a long time, but we are coming back. And yeah, I want to give a chance for everybody to be able to come in the room. So I'm going to send it out to the people. Hi, Whitney Soul. How are you doing today? Hello. Okay, hello, yes.
Wait, I can't see you at all.
You can't?
Mm-mm.
I can see you. How come you can't see me?
I don't know. I saw you when I first got in, but now I don't see you at all.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's my service, but I see you. You can't see anything?
Mm-mm. Well, as long as the crowd sees us both, that's all that matters.
Can everyone see us? Let us know in the comments, because I can see you, so I don't know what phone it is. We could try to do it again.
Let me try to exit and then come back in.
Okay.
All right. Wait, how do I get out of here? I'm so lost. Okay, wait. Okay.
Hey, y'all. Oh, you can see us. Okay, so we want to know, is dating spooky? Give us some scenarios or some things that we can chat about that y'all feel like is going on in the dating realm, okay? I'll do introductions. I don't know why she couldn't see me, but thanks for letting me know that you can see us. Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's all good. It happened to one of my guests on live stream the other night too. So
Yeah, I don't know. They said they can see us, so I don't know
yeah,
if it's just on your side, but nevertheless,
it,
the
it's
devil
all
is
good.
persistent. But see, this is about dating. You never know what you're gonna get. So boom. It's right in, okay?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So
yes, we are going to do an icebreaker, but first we want to do introductions just in case you all don't know us from different audiences. My name is Alicia. I'm the host of Millennial Thoughts podcast. And I'm excited to talk to Rondell, my girl, about dating because it's Bootober, so it's getting a little spooky, but it's cuffing season. There's a lot of stuff going on around here, so I'll let her introduce herself, and we'll get straight into the topic.
hey everybody, my name is Rondell Martin, and I am the founder and CEO of Single and Saving the City, which is an organization for Christian single women of experience based. But I'm also a multi-passionate creative, so I'm excited to have this conversation because if it's one thing I've done in my life, it's dating. I've done a lot of dating in my day. So I have a lot of stories, a lot of insight, so I'm excited.
Now, your sound is a little muffled.
I know I was hearing that. I'm just like, yo, like what is going on?
I don't know what's going on, but
I'm
we're
gonna try to
going
put
to,
on these Bluetooth
yeah.
speakers. I'm gonna try. We're
Okay,
gonna
we're
see
gonna
what
try
that
to work
means.
through it. So we have a little schedule for y'all, but first for the icebreaker, we want to know, there's been a lot of buzz, you know, on the social media, and we want to know, would y'all go on a first date to Cheesecake Factory?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Did you hear
So
my question?
I heard the last part. What was it?
Yeah. So the icebreaker is, I said everything is in a chokehold. It got everybody in a chokehold. Do you think Cheesecake Factory is a okay first date?
I think so, yeah. Because here's the thing about it for me. Like, I feel like in this day and age, especially with social media and everybody saying, oh, make sure that you don't settle for this, make sure you don't settle for that, make sure you have a provider. And all of that is important. I think a lot of times we complicate dating. Like we make it more stressful than it needs to be. And I feel like if Cheesecake Factory is that bad for you, then those are the kind of conversations you should probably have before you pull up there. But I wanted to research that because I didn't see the full video till maybe like 2 days ago. And then, she put out a statement video afterwards, right? Talking about she didn't want to cause confusion and she just is about women empowerment and all this type of stuff. So, needless to say, basically what I got out of her statement video is that she wanted to go viral. Like she wanted this to be something that people were like, "Oh my gosh, Cheesecake Factory, no." But she really said a whole lot of nothing. So, and then people were saying she was late to the date, that he actually had reservations at a fancier place, but they missed the reservation. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. But just the topic at hand, though, I'm all for Cheesecake Factory. Like, it's not McDonald's or something. I could see if it was like McDonald's, you know?
Yeah, so I have a couple of ideas on that one. So within the Cheesecake Factory, I wouldn't go to Cheesecake Factory for a first date, but it's not because I'm bougie. It's because I don't like Cheesecake Factory. One, I can't
Mm,
can't read the dang menu. I get it's romantic and it could be, but another thing, what you said to earlier, it's like too many different things are happening in the dating realm. First of all, you have to have a conversation. If she don't like Cheesecake Factory, don't take her there. Y'all should know where y'all want to go to eat at. So I don't agree with her recording it. So I'm like, what was your motive of recording it? So that's why I honestly thought it was a skit, because I'm
mm.
like, nobody's gonna sit there and record like, he's taking me to Cheesecake Factory. Like that's something that you do after when you talk about it. So I was just like, what? Like I was just like, I feel like that was a skit. And then the
Yeah, I
third
felt the
thing,
same way too.
yeah, the third thing I was saying to my friend is like, the reason with dating is because people are putting preferences, like they're making it too hard. Preferences versus what you like, what this is, stuff like that. It's kind of like, if this person doesn't want to go to the park, that's fine. And like I think they take preferences and bare minimum to an extreme. I don't want to go to a
Mm,
park for a first date. My friend, she would go to the park for the first date. That don't mean that we're bare minimum. Like the ice cream thing and stuff like that. Like we're not bare minimum because we like that. I wouldn't go on a first date to a park. I would go to a first
mhm.
date to the movies. Some people don't want to go to movies because you can't talk. So I think people are getting preferences mixed up with bare minimum and stuff like that. It's just like we all don't have the same things that we like.
Exactly.
So I think that is one of the biggest issues within dating. But then these men, they see it, they hear it, and you have podcasts and stuff like that where some women are gonna be like, I want this high top, I want this low top, whatever. But like men, they're hearing all different things. Well, does a woman want this? Does a woman want that? Okay, they don't want this, they want that. But it's like you really got to get to know who you're dating, and
That's
that's not
very
what
true.
they're doing.
That's very true. And oh Lord, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I'm gonna just borrow the cape for a second. I don't usually do this now. I don't, I don't usually
Now
do
I'm
this.
scared. What you borrowing the tape for?
No, but I'm just like, okay, this is the one time I'm gonna show some empathy to the fellas. Dating is hard. Like, think about it from a man's perspective, okay? And y'all don't come for me, ladies. Don't come for my neck. I'm just saying, like, they got to figure out, and I'm not talking about the alpha male podcasters. I'm not talking about the guys that are chauvinistic. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about the guys that are genuinely trying to find somebody, but they're trying to navigate all these different spaces and stuff. So, to the men hearing this is not absolving you of accountability as far as like Alicia was saying, and I was saying, getting to know the woman that you're dating or pursuing. But from the man's perspective, it's very hard to kind of like, I guess, find that common ground or like to date period. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be the ones to pursue. They got to be the ones to pay for the date. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not paying for a first date personally. So that's,
Oh,
so
that was
they got
another
to
question. It was 50-50 on the date. See, on the first
wait
date. See,
on
now they got to pay
that
for the
date.
first date.
I'm not paying for the first date. I literally just had a conversation about this with a guy that I'm getting to know. And he was like, because I was trying to figure out where his head was at pertaining to that. I was like, are you truly like a 50-50 type of guy? Or do you just like to see that a woman like cares enough to reach for her wallet? Or like, where are you on the spectrum? And so he was like, he is not looking for a woman to pay, but it's nice to know that she's willing to pay, I guess. And so I was like, well, I'm going to tell you flat out right now on the first date, I ain't reaching for nan wallet.
Girl,
So
I'm
don't.
not reaching. I ain't looking. I ain't got it. I ain't got one.
I was like, so don't look for me to reach for no
Don't look
receipt,
for me.
no wallet, none of that.
Don't. No.
I was like, after we get established, like say we're in a relationship, I treat my men very well. The proof is in the pudding. You can ask any of my exes; they were treated like kings, you know. But I feel like for you to pursue me, I'm more traditional in that sense. I'm like, I want to see that you're gonna actually like be ready to pursue me, and I think the least you could do is pay for a dinner, especially when I'm not asking you to take me to Fogo de Chao or Ruth Chris or something like that. Like, like again, bringing it back to Cheesecake Factory, that's pretty reasonable. But from the man's perspective, let's say he's multi-dating or whatever, it could be a lot, especially if the women that he's choosing or pursuing are all like, I want the most expensive thing ever. So I feel like to bring it full circle, the men that are reacting to the whole Cheesecake Factory thing, again, not the ones on the fringes, not the ones, out there, but just the normal ones. It's kind of like, well, dang, like Cheesecake Factory ain't even good enough now. Like, where do you want me to go? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, because before you know it, you could be called sassy, you could be called a brokey, dusty, so I feel like it's just a bit much sometimes. And also, what I wanted to say is all of the couples that I know in my personal life, either my family or family friends or whatever, that have been married or together for a long time. I'm talking more than like 10 years. Their first dates were probably things that would make us touch our pearls. Like, what? Y'all went there? Y'all did that? Like, but they're together. So I feel like the main point of dating is to get information, is to get to know somebody. So if that's the case, I can understand, like you were saying, there's a lot going on in certain restaurants and stuff like that. You do want to have a chance to have conversations, but the cost of your plate is irrelevant in the grander scheme of things, especially for someone like me. I'm just kind of like, I don't want bare minimum, but I don't really care so much about the restaurant itself unless it's food that I just don't like, which I would have told you, because I'm a pretty vocal person. So I just feel like go out, get to know the man. If he's treating you eating, sis, get yourself a plate.
If you
Enjoy
see
yourself.
he eating. But so
No,
that's the thing with the men part. Well, that's their fault. They multi-dating, but they not being upfront. And so then they have to decipher. Like, I'm not trying to bring lust and all that stuff in there, but you got to decipher who's going to be what. You're seeing this girl. She's like, I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. But you don't get to know the person. You don't have conversation. You so quick to want to get them that you're trying to take them out, and then they're going to use you for what you got to use you for what you got and what you say you can do. So you got to decipher between that. And so, yeah, girls going to be like, oh, I want to go here, I want to go here. But you're multi-dating. You're not saying like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you're not communicating that. You're just showing them something or whatever. Then they're going to go back to that. And so you don't know about them. You're just like, let me show you on this. Like, let me show you off, whatever. So I think another thing is like men need to know like who they should invest in a sense, like who do they want to be with, have conversations with this person. And that's true. Like, I need to ask them, you 50-50? Are you are you think you this? And it's like men nowadays, they just don't even be thinking like, I want to pay for this. They're over here like, well, counting the girl's pocket. It's like, well, what's going on with that? And so when we get into dating, you do make a good point. It's like, you're really supposed to get to know each other. You're supposed to get to know each other. But with social media and everything, of like, oh, doing dating reviews, doing this, doing that, it kind of like creates this whole facade about what dating is. And maybe that's truly what it like, what people don't know is like, what is dating? Why is dating so hard? Like, why do we make dating so hard? Why do we have these podcasts that are talking about dating instead of like loving each other? We always preach love, 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 treat people this, treat people that. But then in the dating scene, dudes be ghosting you. You be getting blocked.
Girl, well, I'm a ghoster, so I can't.
Um,
I can't cast no judgment on
Are
that
they,
one, but
they be so rude and just so rude and just nasty? It's like, why are men so rude and nasty? Not saying that women are not, but it's
right.
just like there's like a missing piece to the puzzles.
Well,
Um,
you definitely
I'm
have
a
like.
blocker, so I ain't gonna say that. I don't really ghost, baby. I block. I try to ghost and they keep on coming back, so I be blocking them.
That's because you
But
ghosting them, but they're zombieing you.
what is zombieing? Please, what does zombieing mean?
Okay, so for those that don't know, zombieing is when you are getting to know somebody, y'all dating or whatever, and then they disappear and they come back weeks, months, sometimes even years later. So basically spinning the block. And this is the season for that. This is that hey big head, hey stranger, I miss you randomly out the blue type of text or phone call. That's zombieing.
So
So
ghosting,
I'm gonna go
they
ahead
just
and
go all the way and you don't ever hear from them no more.
ghost. Yeah, ghosting is when they just go away and you never hear from them.
Zombie is when
Zombieing,
they come
zombieing
back.
looks like, yeah, zombieing. You might think you're ghosted and then they come back and you're like,
I
whoa,
think I've
like
been
you
zombie
know.
like one time.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
I
most
don't
times
do
when
that.
people zombie, it's like I really do believe that they found somebody else or somebody else was in the wings that they were more interested in. It didn't pan out, and they're like, "Let me go back to good old faithful over here," because we did have a vibe. We were kind of cool, and let me see what's up. Let me see if they're still single.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling too much on the zombie end because
You
no,
said you're not feeling that.
I'm not feeling zombie and like don't come back. Like after,
Well, they
literally
already blocked
after,
with you.
like after I talked to you, you came back like I'm done. I think I might have let one go, but and that's another thing. It's like you could think like, oh, they're talking to somebody else, but also they could be like, oh yeah, you know how they be like, oh, life be life and I'm busy. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So it's like, okay, but I also know I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna go anywhere. So I
You
might
know what?
entertain
And
you
that's
a little bit.
very true.
Yeah, I might entertain you for a little bit, but I'm already gonna know that this ain't gonna go no further. Because if you could do it once,
That's
you can
very
do it
true.
good. Because Maya Angelou said, when they show you the first time, believe them. Somebody
And you
said
know
that.
what? That is true. That's a word. Come on, Maya. But
Yeah.
I have honestly been one of those people that has used that excuse. Hey, Aisha. My middle name is Aisha. Hey, girl.
Oh, for
But
real?
yeah, just spelled differently, but it's Aisha. But yeah, so I have used that line before. I actually just use it over the summer. Loki. Loki. So I would say when people tell you like life be life in, they're just not interested enough in you. Because if you're interested enough in somebody, like you really like them, you're gonna make time. Like
Mm-hmm.
you already know my schedule. I'll be fighting for my life, like firsthand. And I make time for the guys that are the most important to me. I make time for the people in general that are the most important to me. So if I hit you with the whole life be life thing, either we're not that close, like we just literally never gained a spark, or you are feeling me more than I'm feeling you, and I'm okay not talking to you. I'm okay not reaching out because by the time the day is done, me thinking about having a conversation with you drains me. Like I don't want to be on the phone with you. I don't want to, I don't want to talk to you. So
Mm-hmm.
usually when people tell you that line, they probably are interested, but it's just not enough for any sustainability.
That's a good way to look at it. I don't know. And I don't necessarily know if I agree with that line. Like, yeah, you make time for what you want, you make time for who important to you. But sometimes, like, what if you literally do not have time? Like, it could literally be like you're working, you're going to school, you have a business, your 7 days are booked, or you have two jobs and your days are booked. Like, you could literally be working, fighting for your life 10 hours a day. Like, I mean, it's only 24 hours a day. Like, you want to sleep, you want to rest or something like that. Um, so I don't know that, but that does bring me to my next one. Is like, sometimes I feel like it's okay to be honest and being like, hey, I don't have time to date. And so I think sometimes that is the issue too. It's like people don't be upfront. They be you be having too much going on. You be trying to find a job. You be trying to get your life together. You be doing that, and then you try to date as well. Like, no, you're not gonna be able to take me out on dates. No, you're not gonna be able to show me as much attention or time that we may want. because you don't have time to date. But people be so pressed and want to be in relationships and want to be together and stuff like that. But it's like, it's okay if your relationship don't look like social media. It's okay if you want to take a
Right.
month off or 2 months off to just get yourself together, because you don't have time to date. Instead of making the other person feel like they're not enough, they're not worthy and stuff like that, it's just like, sit back and reflect on your life and figuring out if you have time. But don't be ghosting people or zombieing people and stuff like that because your
Right.
life wasn't together. And then you have other people internalizing things. And that's another reason why I hate when people are like, they don't owe you nothing. People don't owe you nothing. It's just like, well, that's common courtesy. If I'm talking to somebody for like even a week or 2 weeks, you could say, hey, I'm not that interested in you. Like,
Right.
give people
Exactly.
that, because at the end of the day, if we are validating people's feelings, if we are talking to people, like if we was interested in that person, like you could say, hey, I'm not feeling you right now, like that's okay. People are going to have to deal with rejection in a week or two. Not that you owe anybody anything, but it's not like you taking dating and doing all of that stuff. So you could just say, hey, right now I don't have time. Hey, I'm not interested in it. Like it's okay to say that, but it's like this whole, oh, they don't owe me anything, they don't da da da. That's what the issue is, and that's why we can't even move forward, because people are just like, okay, it's me, I'm worried about myself. But it's just like, that's what the issue is. People don't know how to communicate.
And that's true. Like, go ahead.
Oh, I'm saying communication, like it's in college, it's in school, but effective communication is not taught. And
It's
people
not.
need to know how to communicate effectively. It's okay. Everybody's not going to be your vibe. That's even in friendships and stuff like that. Just say it. Don't talk. But if the person is like constantly hitting you up or something like that, just say like, hey, I'm not really interested. Or hey, we could be friends. But
Right.
sometimes that's why I be having to ghost people, because I be telling them like, hey, we not gonna work out, and they still be messaging me, and I'm like,
Girl,
we not.
and that's what I was gonna say. So I want to backtrack because I'm like my wheels are spinning as you were talking. But what you were saying about like sometimes life is just that busy. Like just to put things in perspective, and everyone's different. I will say I'm naturally pretty good at multitasking, and at least just communicating in general, keeping people abreast. But just to keep it in perspective, I'm a single mom. I take care of an elderly parent. I'm self-employed and an entrepreneur. I homeschool and I still keep up with dating, friendships,
Oh, ma'am,
etc.
you don't need to
Active
be dating.
relationships. Huh?
Ma'am, you don't need to be dating. You got a lot on your plate.
No, I'm dating right now.
I
I'm
know,
getting
but
to
I'm
that.
saying you're busy. I don't know if you really should
No,
be
but
dating.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to my point though, because that includes my point. So all of that's going on. But what I was gonna say is we say we don't have time, but sometimes it's literally as simple as like you said, sending a text. There's times in the day where you're not doing anything. Like you're sitting in the bathroom, you're in the kitchen waiting for something in the microwave. You can send a quick text and say, like, hey, just checking on you, how was your day? Boom, you're done. Like, little things like that. And again, it comes back to my point of like sometimes we overcomplicate things. And then I was also gonna say too, when it is right, it flows. So the guy that is the main one I'm like focusing on right now, that honestly is looking pretty promising. But girl, yes, the main one.
Because you gotta have
But
one.
period. But no, but it's looking promising with him. I would say he's just as busy as me. He's a single father, but it works. Like we've been talking now for like a month, and it has never been a day where I'm like, dang, like I feel like there's no effort. Dang, like where's the communication? Because it works, it flows. Like so if you have to force it, if you're finding all this friction, it's probably not a match. Because at the end of the day, if you're really feeling somebody, you're gonna make that 5 to 10 seconds to send a text or a voice note if y'all can do that. If you have compatible phones or whatever. But it's not as
She's
hard as
not
we make
iPhone.
it
She's
seem.
an Android user.
Dang, you had to put me on the spot like that.
Because you said the compatible. I love a voice
Yes, team
note.
Android. Period. But needless to say, like it just flows. Whereas there's other guys, like there was a guy with dating during the summer. He's busy like me too, but it was so much friction. It was like we just could not get on the same wavelength. So nature takes its course. Like things that are supposed to be will be. Like it will naturally come together, and it doesn't always have to be this big. Like okay, what's your calendar? Okay, boom, I'm gonna block off 7 to 7:45 p.m. on Wednesday. We're gonna do like it should just if it's not having any flow to it, if it's not just cohesive, it's probably not for you, sis. Like, and I'm not gonna say throw the whole man away, but it might not be the time for him, or it might just not be him. And then there was something else I was gonna say too, as we were talking. Oh, right, about the ghosting. So I've done both as far as like just ghosting someone and just being gone. Hey, Molly, is she still in here? And then also telling the guys I'm not interested. And when, like, yeah, I get what you're, what people, not you, what people are saying when they're like, oh, they don't owe you anything, but I'm with you. It's common courtesy. But I will say, depending on how hot and heavy we were, I might just ghost and not say anything. Like I might just go away. You know, you know. So it depends on the vibe. It depends on how close we were, or just
I
how I
feel like
feel.
you talk to someone like every day. So like, and like me. So, well, I don't know if it's like ghosted, but if I'm talking on the phone, like sorry, and I'm busy too. I'm taking my precious time. So I'm just saying, like, if I'm talking on the phone with you for an hour or 2 hours, like you have to know, like, okay,
Yeah.
I like talking to you. So like, if we're talking multiple times a week and on the phone, hour and a half, whatever. But that's why I'm confused. So I'm like, so it sounds like you're interested in me because you're calling me and I'm talking to you. But then a week later or like 2 weeks later, it's like we don't talk anymore.
Okay.
You
Yeah. So in
could
a case
just say
like
like,
that,
hey, you're
I
not
would tell the guy.
interested.
Yeah.
Or a guy that's like texting me all the time. I feel like I know why this one dude he ghosted me, but I feel like I know why he ghosted me. But that's a different conversation. But it's like we was texting, he was calling me or whatever, and he was like real consistent. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. But then we had a conversation, and he like kind of stopped talking. You could really be like the common courtesy of like, oh hey, okay, we're looking for different things, whatever, or I'm too busy like saying something. It's not like I'm talking about the dude that's like, oh hey, and you text him 5 hours later, it's like, hey, okay, five
Oh
hours
yeah.
later, what you doing? Okay, the next day, oh, I'm doing good. Baby, I'm already going to stop texting you because no. I'm talking about when you're talking to somebody like every day and it's like more than like 10-minute conversations.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, in that case, I've always told the guy I'm not interested. But like you said, 9 times out of 10, when I tell a guy I'm not interested, it's like it's a thrill. Like, oh, I'm gonna make you interested. You gonna be with me. Like,
Oh yeah, I
you
guess
know?
that. Yeah, I'm like, this is not gonna work. And he's like, well, we can make it work. We can't. We can't.
Right.
We can't
Like
make it
it's
work.
water under the bridge, baby. Let me go. They're like, no,
Mm-hmm.
like you're gonna love me.
And,
You're gonna-
yeah, and so you're gonna love me. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like I don't understand that part because it's like you was interested. So to me, I'm thinking you're interested because first of all, I'm not calling no dude. Say whatever you want. They're calling me.
Period.
So I'm thinking that you're interested. And then when you stop calling, whatever, then I might hit you up like, oh hey, because I like I just do that a couple of times. But then it's like, okay, I hit you up, hey, and then it's kind of like, whatever. And then like you kind of go. So I'm like, so you really wasn't interested. You could have just said, well, I'm not interested in this, or this is not a good time for me. Like you could just say
Yeah.
that instead of having me over here looking like where's Waldo, like Boo Boo the Fool, you know. But
No,
I
it
ain't gonna
really
say I
does get like
block, so
that.
I'm not even gonna talk about people who ghost for real, because blocking could be worse than ghosting. But y'all let me know in the comments which one's worse, blocking or ghosting. Let me know which one y'all think is
I
worse.
don't know. That's a good question, honestly. Because I don't block. Because I don't know. If I block you, like you really did something egregious, where I'm like, nah, you gotta, like, I don't want no contact at all.
I,
But
I block because they keep on talking or they do crazy stuff, and I have to block. Keep on
okay.
texting me because sometimes I ghost, but they'll keep texting me, and then I don't respond. My friends, like, I don't block. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing that text message.
I
So then
just
I
like
block
to
you.
see. I like them to see that they're left on red. I don't know. It's just.
Oh no, that. Well, I don't even get my real number, but that blue could turn green
Oh,
real quick.
okay.
Leave me alone. Don't text me. I have other, but then I'm already talking to somebody else. So it's like I don't even care for you to see it. So I just block.
You said
On
I'm on to
on
the
to the
next.
next. What Ariana Grande said? Thank you. Next, like I'm on to the next. It don't matter.
Girl, I'm just, and because I multi-date a lot of the time too, it's like
Yeah, and
I don't
how
want to
do
say this.
you multi-date? That's just, whew.
How do I
Yeah,
multi-date?
that's just a lot.
It's really not, but like I said, everyone's different. My locks, it's time to redo these bad boys because this thing. But but it's really not that bad for me because again, it's kind of like personalities, schedules, habits kind of sort themselves out. So now in my young days, oh, my roster used to be lofty. Your girl was juggling them, okay? But as I've gotten older, I'm not as energetic as I used to be and stuff like
I
that.
can't seem
I'm
to
just
juggle
like.
anybody, but first you gotta find people to juggle. So,
But no, like this year though, I've had a quality batch this year. I've had a real quality batch. I'm
hey,
like, all of them have, hey, everyone coming in. everybody has pretty much been quality to the point where it's like, man, like
Oh,
you
that's
really
good
are
quality.
good
Where you
material.
finding them at, girl? Because they trying to figure out where the men at with quality. Is it
Girl,
app?
it's a mixture. So the best quality I've been finding is on the BLK app. The dude that I'm talking to now, I
What?
know him on there. But you gotta pay.
That app? Oh
You gotta
no,
pay though.
they
It's
got lives and everything on the BLK app.
no,
I
the BLK app has good catches, y'all. Like it might be the age range you're putting in because I'm looking at like I think right now my settings are between 38 to
oh, well, that's
43,
why I ain't find nobody. 38, girl. 10 years
I'm
old.
yeah, exactly. But I'm about to be 35 in November, so so my age range is different, and then it also depends on I want to say location. I feel like you could edit location on there if I'm not
I
mistaken,
don't
but
think you can change your location, but you could do miles like from
oh.
your location.
Oh, okay, that's what it is then. I think that's what matters. But that has been reaping a harvest for me this year. I gotta, I
For
gotta admit,
real?
I'm like, y'all are husband material. Okay, like I'm talking quality men, y'all. So that has been great. And then in person, honestly, like me. Well, I work doing like lift and stuff, so I'm out and about a lot anyway, and so that helps. But I would say as far as like when I'm just out and meet people this year I've been going to a lot of like pop-up shops and festivals and there's a crowd for that. Like there's like a community for that. So I feel like the people that I've met there are quality. And it could be the stuff that I was going for makes a difference too. So but yeah, I would say that like get outside of nightlife if you've been just inundating yourself with that. Or go to like nice restaurants. Go places where you can be seen and you can be by yourself and you don't feel awkward. Like, you can sit down and enjoy a poetry reading or a meal or something and look approachable, like smile, say hello, like,
That's me because I'm like this
sit.
at the events.
You said what?
That's me because I'm just sitting there like this.
You can't have a meme mug.
But I be into it like that. But I be saying my mom, I'm like, I be
And
so
sometimes it's
like,
just as simple as like I'm not sitting there teasing the whole time because then you look crazy. But it's just as simple as like if we lock eyes, I'm like, hello, keep it moving.
oh
And
my
so
gosh, I think I missed my mark. Not to cut you off, but I was at that gym. But I locked the eyes with this white man. Okay, but he was like, I don't know if he was really white, but I looked at him and he like smiled, but I just like. like I just looked because I was like so sure because I was like not really paying attention because I really was looking at somebody else for real. Oh, the gym is where the men is at for real. But I was like, oh, that's so rude. Like he could really think I have an RBF because I was just like looking like, but I was like so focused on like trying to like change the weight or whatever. He's like, so I was like, dang. So I was like, if I see him again, I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, hi, smile. So I was like, oh, that was horrible. Like I might have just missed my dang mark. He might have been able to help me out.
girl, you gotta take a
But yeah, I
moment.
don't also walk around going like they like smile. Like what am I smiling about? My life is I be thinking about my life. So my life is hectic. My life is crazy. Like I have nothing to smile about.
You got money in your account. It might not be as much as you want, but you got it.
What is that? That's something to smile about? Money in my account?
That's something to smile about.
But I don't know if it's nothing to smile about because it's about to be out of there.
I'm trying to look at the positive. I'm trying to
something
encourage
to cry
you.
about. Now, that would get me crying. Too. If you tell me to cry, I can cry. Baby, I can't smile.
Girl, you're on your way.
You said what?
You're on your way. I'm trying to uplift and encourage. Like we got a lot to smile about.
Girl,
It could be worse.
It literally is worse. Like I don't think people understand. It literally is. Like the dating life is matching up with my regular life. Like it's really all of it is spooky.
It's not so I would say too, like where you're at in your mind really does reflect in your external, in your energy, right? Because I was doing this Lyft ride the other day, and it was a long ride. I had to take this guy practically to the Valdosta, but it paid very well. I was happy. And so we were talking for the whole like 2 hour ride or whatever.
Oh.
And in the middle of the yeah, like, well, he's married though. He was nice. We were just having a friendly conversation. And he was just like in the middle of the conversation, like, you look really happy. He was like, you have a natural glow. Like, you just look joyful. He was like, is that real or are you putting on? I was like, no, like, I really am in a good space in my life. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things in my life that are going wrong right now. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on, a lot of pressure on my shoulders. But I think it really starts from within. Like I know it sounds cliche and cheesy, but when people say that, it's true. Like when you're in a certain space, regardless of what your circumstances are looking like, it radiates in your energy. When you walk into a room with that, it's like it's magnetic, you know? And it's hard to put into words, but I'm in that space now and I'm seeing what people mean when they say that. But also I would say too, dating is a train wreck these days. We all can agree. But and this is another reason why I kind of like to multi-date or like keep my options open. One, a lot of these dudes are doing the same, whether they admit it or not, And two, it kind of makes it like, I don't know, like less pressure in my eyes at least, or like less stressful in my eyes. Not for everybody, but in my eyes, it's almost like, okay, he didn't work out next. Okay, on to the next. Okay, when I had a date, that was cool. Okay, like it's almost kind of like a game, not in a toxic way, but just kind of like, okay, moving on, moving on. That was fun, and I'm kind of learning about myself more and more, especially the older I get. And then I will say too, I can't say this is everybody's experience because some women my age are going through the fire right now. But I would say with my dating experience, it has gotten more enlightening as I've gotten older because of the quality of men I'm meeting and because of the work that I'm presently kind of trying to do on myself. So it's like with every experience I go through, I'm like, all right, I know a little bit more about myself now. I'm way more vocal now in my mid 30s than I was in my 20s. I've always been assertive in that way, but I'm more vocal where it matters. Um, and I don't know, like when you meet people that are on the same wavelength as you don't waste time. I can say that this year it has not been a lot of wasted time. It's been very much like even if we don't match up, it's been like, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I'm at. Okay, that sounds good. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, we don't agree on that. Okay, it was nice to meet you. On to the next, and we keep it moving.
I'm like
So
that right now, but you don't feel like it's wasted time since you've had to date so many people though, and like you're like,
because girls,
okay, finding this person, okay, that's not working. Fine. You don't feel like that's wasting your time?
because they're actually taking me on dates, so that's not to pay
Yeah.
for it. Thanks for the
I was just
experience.
like, that's a long. I was like, that's a long trip. But Alexis, I don't know if you heard the answers earlier, but we said apps. Rondell said black, and then she said like going to bars, going places, and just being approachable and not having an RBF.
Yeah, but don't go where everybody's flocking to. Like go someplace where it's like of a different echelon and where it's more like business class. So I'm not gonna say don't go out late night or whatever, but if you have like availability one day out the week to go out during happy hour, that's a good hour to meet guys. Like one, you're probably gonna meet huh?
Maybe at happy hour.
Yeah, girl. But you have to go to certain like restaurants or lounges or bars. So like a good hotel restaurant with a bar, that's a good place because you're gonna meet like business class guys. You're gonna meet guys that are like, just getting out from the office, maybe a business meeting, they just want a quick cocktail, maybe a steak or whatever before they go home.
Let me go ahead to the hotels.
Girl, I'm telling you, and then it's not overrun, so you can be seen more. Like you don't want to go someplace where it's super crowded because it's gonna be harder for you to be approached because there's so many other people there. People are just more than likely trying to be with their friends, just get out. You want to be in the places that are more like low key, but of a certain like quality of people there. So that makes a huge difference, and you're gonna have better conversations. Also, like I said, this year I've been meeting a lot of people at festivals, and the festivals I'm
what
going
festivals you be going to?
So usually the festivals I go to are cultural or history based. So summer I went to a lot of Juneteenth festivals. I go to a lot of cultural festivals that might be hosted by museums. So and then there's like festivals for different hobbies and stuff. So if you go to things like that, you're gonna meet people either with a common interest or of a certain line of thinking. 9 times out of 10, if someone is at a festival held by the Atlanta History Museum, they're of a certain mindset. Like you're not gonna just be there and you're not interested in that kind of stuff. Car shows, that's a good one. Car shows are good.
I never been to a car show. Maybe I need to add that to my list. But I will say church single events because I was at a conference. That's a good one because I was at a conference and this lady was like, oh, yeah, I was married. She was like, she was giving me hope because she was like, she didn't get married till she was 33. And I was like, oh, where did you meet your husband? She said at a singles event at church. Well, I said, where I go to church, the single men don't be there. But hey, at least there's some places where the singles.
And you can
church where the men are single at. Please help.
Yes, do it. do like an Instagram search, and if you see a church with a lot of young adults, they're more than likely gonna have a thriving singles ministry, or at least like a young adult ministry
Yeah,
where you can meet singles.
no,
So that's
I be
another good
asking.
one.
Yeah, I be like, where? Like now that I'm going to, I'm like, where's the young adult ministry? Well, I moved out of Atlanta, but the young adult ministry was about to start popping, and I'm so sad because now I'm not there.
At your church in
Yeah,
Atlanta?
at the church that I went to in Atlanta.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got you.
but
Yeah.
now it's, but now I don't live there, so now I'm like, okay, well, where do
Mm,
I go now to find a young adult, whatever? So that's
yeah.
that, and that is hard, but
You might have to go downtown where you're at now. Downtown, you tend to find churches with good young adult ministries.
our downtown don't really have churches,
Oh,
really.
okay, got you.
Yeah, it's not like a big city or something like that, so I don't know about
Mm,
that. But yeah.
dang.
But
Well,
oh, there was something else I was gonna say too. But I think I forgot. But I guess we can mosey on to our next segment. We are
yeah.
at the segment where we are sharing our dating horror stories. So if you have a horror story that you like to share, put it in the comments and we can chop it up.
Oh, I
I met
love
my
what
husband
Aisha said. Did you see her
at
comments? She
20. We
said,
were married 8 months later. We just made 15 years in July, so don't be discouraged. Oh, thank you.
"Hey, come
That is,
on."
yes, that's another thing too. And that's what the lady was like, yeah, I met him and he was talking, he just got divorced and he had kids. And she was like, well, I'm on a timeline. He was like, yeah, I don't even get married till another 10 years. She's like, I only have 2 years. Baby, they was married next year. Okay, so sometimes you got to tell them
Ooh,
what it is.
yes,
And that's the
I
thing
know
too.
that's
It's
right.
like, are you open to people with kids and stuff like that? But it's also like a timeline and different things like that.
You know,
But 8 months
that's
later,
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
and I was like, 8 months later, that's really quick for an y'all made 15 years. That's good.
That's
Because
good.
nowadays, baby, people be married
Because when you know, you
after
know.
5 years and they be divorced after one.
Listen, when you know, and that's the thing too. I'll say, like a lot of the time, in my experience, when a guy is ready and serious about you, it almost can feel like, whoa, like this is really moving. You know, where it's like we're not wasting no time. But what you were saying about, do you want a man with kids? I've actually opened up a little bit more to that, and it's crazy because I'm a single mom, right? You would have thought I would have been like, oh yeah, for sure. But at first, I was kind of like, eh. But that's because when I first became a single mom, I was meeting a lot of guys who were single fathers, but they were not keeping their house affairs in order. It was a lot of like, you're still trying to be in the mother of your children's bed. You're still trying to date. You're trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this year with my dating, it has revived my hope that blended. And I grew up in a blended family, so I've seen it done amicably, but I wasn't sure if that was something that would be my story. But I will say I can do a man with kids if the situation is right. If
Oh,
it's like
okay. But this
everything.
situation is good. What to do with the kids? Because you said kids. I said single father. I said, hold on. Is that who we talked about a couple years ago?
Girl, we gonna have to talk offline about that one.
Oh, yeah, because I said, oh, man with kids, baby. And see, I'm at the point, like, I really think, because I'm young and I don't have kids, I really just don't want to step into a role being a stepmother. Not necessarily saying that I have to be, but in general, like, thinking of a child that's not mine. And you just know there do be bitter baby mamas, there don't be some bitter baby mamas, but it's just like me having to be in a role. And so that man, he's probably gonna, want to buy a house. He's probably going to want to stay in that area, versus me. I don't have any kids. So like I can move, I can go, I can do more freedom things. Not that he can't, but it's like he's going to probably be like, I don't want to say stationed like he's a military, but he's going to be set to stay in that city, in that area. He wants to be close by his kid. And not that I want to be put first, but sometimes baby mamas be crazy. It's like, if you don't get your kid, or like you're not gonna get your kid if she around. I don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't want him to have to deal with that. Like I can't be around him because she ain't met me. Then I gotta meet her, and I gotta hear her and her friends. Well, not hear them talking about me, but whatever. In the sense, like they're gonna be saying something like his new girl, blah, 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 blah. So all that comes into it. But unless the woman is definitely over the man, then maybe not.
Yeah, and I would say that those are all things that I learned from, and I asked those questions. Like, okay, what's the situation like? Do you have structures in place? Is anything through the court? Like, is she moved on? Like, am I gonna meet them? Because that's another thing too, where guys in the past would be like not introducing me, and now I'm the secret because again they're trying to play both sides. So, but I would say I tell every woman that I meet that doesn't have children, and especially if she's young, like don't feel like you got to settle for I don't want to say settle for, that sounds terrible, but don't feel like you got to date a single father. Like you don't have to, like, you should experience having a child for the first time with someone who's also experiencing that. I wanted to do that. That didn't end up being my story, but it's a beautiful thing when you can kind of journey through that together. And then being on the single parent side, there are perks of single parents dating other single parents. There's certain things that another single parent's going to understand about my lifestyle and my priorities that someone who doesn't have kids might not. So I definitely get it from both sides.
I can see that. I can. So, yeah, we want to talk about some horror stories. The dating horror stories is a lot. Like, I kind of got some dating scenarios. Horror stories, I'm gonna leave that to Rondell. But
Okay, you start then. You give us some scenarios.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say you go with the horror stories first because I'm trying to think of like some dating scenarios that are just like crazy. I think, well, I barely can, like, for me, it's like, it's so hard to get to the date because what men say when they talk to you, and that's like that whole response, like, how they talk. And I could talk to you about dating apps, so online dating, like, I be scrolling through so many things. They be like, don't message me if you ain't gonna talk. Don't message me if you looking for a, not a provider, but like if you looking for someone to pay your bills, which is kind of a provider, but that's how they say it. I don't want you if you have fake hair, if you don't have a job, like I'm not your sugar daddy. And it's just like the profiles be so uninviting that it doesn't even want you, that you don't even want to date, you don't even want to swipe. So I'm just like that, but like that's what we see out here, and it's just like that's why I don't have that much hope, because it's like it's just such a negative experience. Like they be like, dating's supposed to be fun, dating's supposed to be this, but it's like you can't even get that. And then when you do try to go on the date, well, they want you to go 50-50, or like you talk on the phone with them and it's just like they don't have any conversations. Like I'm pulling teeth like I'm a dang dentist, pulling teeth out to get them to move their lips.
That's why I make that declaration from the jump. Baby, don't look for me to reach in my wallet on a date, because if that's the case, I could make this a business meeting and make it tax deductible. Like, let me tell you what I offer. You need some consulting services. You got what you need.
But then let's talk about that, because when you go on dates, do you tell them that you have a successful business? My friends
no.
Do you
no.
your business, or do you say you're entrepreneur? Like, what do you say?
I say I'm self-employed, or I'll say like usually I'll say I'm a content creator, because most people, believe it or not, don't know what that is. They're like, oh, what is that? And then I keep it minimal, because
Some people know that content creators make a lot of money though.
Well, thank the Lord, the guys that I meet don't really know what that is for real, and they be like, oh, what is that? Or sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm self-employed. I work in my family's nonprofit, which that's not a lie, but I try to kind of water it down at first, not too much, but to the point where they don't get too eager to be a part of like a brand. Because I found that I was running into a lot of guys that were like, oh my gosh, you have this, you have that. Help me build my business. Let me be on your podcast. Let me do this.
And that's the scary part too, is like my friends talking about how you have to, like, I don't want to say dumb yourself down, but dim it down, because like you can't really show and say what you want, because nowadays men are gold diggers. Listen. So it's like you don't really even know what to say or how to say it. I'd be like, I ain't got no business. Well, one dude, like, he made me, it was like so annoying, and it was just like I try to keep myself, like, granted, I am private. Like, I'm private. People might not think that I'm so private, but even with dudes, like, I try to keep it private. So he was like, what you doing? I was like, oh, I'm watching YouTube with my friends. And so then he's like, okay, what you watching or whatever. Then he's like, oh, like, you do YouTube? And I was like, no, I was saying I'm watching it. He goes in, he already looks at my name, screenshots it, and sends me a picture of it.
Oh, heck no. That's creepy.
It's so creepy. And I'm pissed off, because I never once told you that I did YouTube. I never once was like, he's like, oh, I read it wrong. Like, why are you so quick to go to YouTube? And then even if you do it, why are you showing that to me?
That's creepy. Right, like, because I'm not gonna lie, I be running background checks on these dudes and everything, but I'm not gonna show them that, like, oh, look at what I found. Like, I didn't know you do that.
Yeah, and then one time I was on a dating site, and I was a podcaster, and so I guess some people do know, because then I was getting people following me on Instagram, and I don't really like dudes on my Instagram, so that whatever. And so that's another thing too. My friends like, you don't tell me you have a podcast. No, I do say I have a podcast, like in my bio. They like, oh, they can listen to it. Then one dude's like, oh, I want to get on or whatever, and I just kind of like fluff that out. But other time I'm like, oh yeah, I do YouTube. They be like, oh, can I see it? So it's a genuine interest sometimes. So they're like, oh, can I see what do you do YouTube about? What do you talk about? And then they're like, okay. And then they're like, can I watch your video or whatever? I'm like, oh, okay. Or if they say, do you have social media? I'm like, no, I don't have social media. But you would
Lying
type
for
in
your
my
city.
name, you should look it up. But that's if they want to do it or not. So it's
And
kind of like,
I'm with you on that as far as not wanting them to be on my YouTube like that, because I'm very like vulnerable and transparent on my YouTube, and I just feel like it's a wolf in the pack. Like, why are you here? I'm usually talking to women. I do have some male friends to support, but it's still kind of like, why are you here? Like, you can kind of like listen to my videos and find out everything about me before I'm ready to tell you. So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. And that's what it's like. I really just like share what I want to share, whatever. So sometimes I'd be like, no, I don't. They like, you could create. No, I don't create content or something like that. So I kind of like scale that back, but I really don't create content now. So it's gonna be scaled even more back. But I still do have a podcast. So I'm like, but hey, I let them listen to my podcast because my podcast ain't necessarily always about me. But I'm like, I can
right.
download. So you could go listen to the podcast.
Period. Okay.
You
I
hear the
think I have.
podcast.
You know what? I think I have. I do a podcast on the BOK app too. Yeah, but that hasn't really been too bad. I haven't had too many guys be like, "Oh, I found the podcast, whatever." But
Oh
the
no,
YouTube.
dudes be asking me like on Facebook, they be like, "Oh, you have a podcast? Oh, what's your podcast called? Oh, where can I
Oh,
watch
that's
that?"
good.
They do like, so it's kind of like an interest versus like, "Oh, you have a podcast? I want to be on your
Oh,
podcast." But some dudes be
okay.
like, "Oh, I did listen to it." Like some dudes do listen to it, so I kind of just like gauge it. Like if I see that they're a podcaster, I'm like, okay, I can see like you could collab or whatever, or I can see like you're really interested in it. Like, oh, that's cool. They always be like, oh, what made you do that? Like, what made you start a podcast? And I be telling them. So I guess it's different. But it's like you going to my YouTube, the screenshot, like, and then I never even said if it was me or nothing like that. So then later on, I told him how like that was weird. He's like, well, is that you? And I never even answered him because I'm like, that is so creepy. But you know that's me if you see my face in the picture. But it's like, why would you go and do that?
Right.
To go
And then let me know that you did it.
like what?
Like,
Like that's
that's too much.
creepy. And so even now though, like I am in tech. Well, I be saying like I do tech, but even now I'm like, oh, I'm in education just to see what they're gonna say. But I also on them app, I be like, do you have a job? They be like, none, you didn't. Nope, I don't swipe. What's your job? So if they're tech, if they're more techie, I'll be like, oh, I work in tech, or I work in tech support. If it's like a dude that don't really have a career, I'll be like, oh, I work in education. So I kind of change it up like that too, in a sense, you know. But it's just
Well, wait. Why do you change it up though?
well, that's why
Why do you
I
do
change it
that?
up because if I tell somebody, no shade, but if I tell somebody at like Walmart or Kroger, like, oh, I work in tech, they're going to say something, you know, not that they're going to say something different, but it's like, okay, I'm explaining or whatever. Or even, you know, thinking like, they're going to be like, oh, she got big money, whatever. Like, no. But if I'm talking to a
She got that long money.
if I'm talking to a software engineer, there's a lot of dudes in tech now. I would say, oh, I work in education and I do tech support. Because then they know, like, okay, I do tech. Like, I work in education. I'm going to tell them education just because, like, they are software engineers, and I'm like, I ain't nowhere near that. So I'm saying, like, I'm in education, I'm transitioning to tech versus just someone regular. Like, oh, I work in education. And then even when I say tech, they're like, oh, what's that? You know, oh, tech support or something like that. But the software engineers are going to know what tech support is.
Yeah.
Data analyst is going to know what that is. A tech support, like, and there be dudes with jobs, software engineers. I can't think of the main one now, like data analyst. There's another one that's really, really popular. But of course, I can't think of
engineer.
A what?
Like a systems engineer.
Yes, that's it. Analyst, stuff like that. So I do change, like, oh, I work in education, but before I didn't even have my job up on there, but I be asking them what they do, so then I already know they're gonna ask me what I do.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I
don't
think
saying, like, you at work. I'm like, sir, I work every day. Do you not work every day?
that's another thing too. Like well, I can understand why guys might ask me that because I say I'm self-employed, but so it's a little harder to pin down. But yeah, I do ask if they're employed because there definitely will be guys on the dating sites who are in between and in between. And this is another thing too, where I feel like, especially as a man, you should be in a place where you are at least happy with where your life is going because, like you were saying, with the negative profiles, so they're like, don't message me if, and it's like boom, 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 boom. That's unattractive, sir. Like you're already coming with all the smoke, all the angst. I don't want to talk to you, period. Now,
At
like
all.
you just look like you're ready for a fight, like you're ready to tussle. Who wants to
Yeah,
approach someone?
they be ready to tussle in there. I mean, I said something like that, but like they be ready to tussle, and it's like it's not inviting, and it's like, why do you think that? And that's another thing because you know, men, their ego, and you don't have a job. How are you gonna try to take me out? Then you're gonna be like 50-50, this, and that, and you don't have a job, you don't know what you're doing, and that be dudes like they like, oh, I'm just figuring out. Or they do have jobs and they don't pay as much, and even one dude is like, okay, you don't have a job, or like you're not really where you want to be at. And that's what I think the difference between men and women are sometimes. Like men, they'll be broke for whatever, they still be trying to pursue the women. The girls, they're gonna be like, no, let me get myself together, let me be able to be prepared
Right.
to date, to get it. But men are just like, oh, it is whatever. Like, well, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Do y'all think love is blind? Is love blind? You didn't watch it. Ooh. But one guy, and then he's like, money will be okay. Like, I just want to be in love, so like that. But like, love is not blind. You broke, and you might be a sugar mama, but you can't provide for what she wants. So that's another thing too. It's like,
Yo,
do y'all think love is blind?
no,
Or
it's
is love
absolutely
not blind? But
not.
in this last season, these men didn't have that many. Like, a lot of these men didn't have jobs or whatever, and it's like, why are y'all even here on this dating show? You're getting married. And my thing is too,
Right.
it's like, I want to see if you can provide. It's not that I can't provide for myself, because clearly I've been doing that and I can do that. But I want to see
Right.
if I'm looking for, and also here's another thing, I'm dating to marry. What are you
Yeah.
dating to do? Because if I'm
Right.
dating to marry, I'm looking, are you a provider? Do you have money? Do you have income? Do you want kids? Like, I'm looking for all that stuff. And so it's
Yeah.
kind of like when you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just dating to date to have fun, that's a whole different thing. But I'm looking for stuff in place. And so if I come with that same thing, that's why they were like, oh, you can't expect this. Like, yes, you can. Like, they be like, oh, you need to bring it to the table. What they bring to the table, yada, 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 yada. Well,
Especially as we get older.
yeah. And I'm like, I mean, I am old. I think I'm old. I'm
Girl,
old.
you are far from old. You are just getting started. You are not.
Girl, I'm just getting tired. That's what I am. I'm ready to
You're
retire.
like, all my life I had to fight.
Okay, like, and it's only been a couple of years, and all my life I still had to fight. Like, I put my girl Sealy, like,
Oh my
I had to
gosh.
fight, and the girl was 8 years. Oh,
I'm
like,
weak.
yeah.
I'm
So
weak
it's just
right
like,
now.
when you're looking for certain things, you're looking for that marriage material, you're looking for someone who wants to have kids, like, and it's kind of hard to be on the same path. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
where do we find the men that we're looking for? And if they're going to be ready, and if they're not, they're going to be ready at 38, 40. I can't have kids at 40. I mean, yes, I can. But
I would say, so one thing that I've been realizing in my years of dating, because I've been dating since I was 14. And like I said, I'm about to be
that's a long
35 in a
time,
month.
girl.
Girl, I talk about tired. I done put in my 20 years. Okay, I'm, I'm
20
tired.
years.
But
That's
I'm
the whole resume. You
okay,
retiring. Okay, reach up off your feet.
okay, period. Like, but I feel like I'm about to embark on that next season of life. I really feel
Well,
it in
then
my
what
shining eye that it's
you
getting
gonna do
close
a
to me.
single saved in the city?
Oh,
Give it to somebody else?
I already, no, I already have the vision of how that's gonna evolve and everything. But I'm not gonna speak on it because I don't want to like jinx it or nothing like that. But I already know what the name change gonna be, what it's gonna be. I know all that. Like,
Damn, no,
not only
that's
that,
rude. See, I don't like that. That's rude. How you gonna try to change it and you just getting the people up in there and now you're gonna move on? Now what do you think it's gonna
like,
be?
no,
Gonna
it's
be
still gonna have,
it's gonna
still
be
gonna have.
engaged and ready
No,
to be prepared for
no,
marriage.
no. It's still gonna have a single element, but it's going to evolve in ways. So when the time comes, y'all will see. But I'm not gonna ditch my
I'm
single
already
sister
mad.
that I've been
Baby,
single.
I'm be out here
How
by
you
myself.
already married? We ain't not even married yet.
I'm by myself. Well, you already got the idea and you already got the vision, so it sounds like you making it plain, okay?
I'm just saying, when we embark on that new season, your girl's ready. You know, be ready. God's been giving me downloads. But one thing I will say though is that I have learned that obviously you're not always gonna meet a guy who's just lock stock ready to go, like IKEA furniture, just boom, he's got it all. You
Well, I
can
think
just
it
sail
don't be
off
ready.
to the
You gotta
sunset.
put that together.
Well, that's true, yeah. But you know, he's not just gonna be all the way together, like boom, you can just come in and sail off into the sunset. But I think at least what I've learned is the most important things, or some of the most important things to look for, is what is his vision for his life? Is he in hot pursuit of that? So is he like just talking about it, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, or is he actually materializing these things as you get to know him? And what I said, his vision, is he materializing it? What is his work ethic to go with that, and what are his overall ambitions? So ambition and vision kind of go hand in hand. Like, you know, how ambitious are you? That matters, because like I'm a hyper ambitious woman, not to the point where I'm never content or satisfied, but I have a lot of big plans for my life and for my legacy. So I know for me, I can't date a man who is okay just working his regular job and not even trying to evolve and grow within even his career field. You know, I'm not saying you got to be an entrepreneur like me or whatever, but I want a man who has a vision for his life, who wants more for himself too. Because what I found is that when I date men that are complacent, being at a certain level, it starts to cause angst between us because it's like, oh, you always trying to do something, you always trying to go here and do da da da, and it's like I feel like I'm weighted down. He feels like I'm doing too much. You know, we're just not on the same trajectory where it counts. You know, our foundational principles. And then I have a very strong work ethic. You know, so I need a man who can appreciate that and who has a strong work ethic in his sense, whatever your talent is, whatever your gifting is, whatever your vision is. So, you know, those are things that you want to look at. And that brings me to my point I was going to say, where when you look at those things, love itself is not enough. Like, love in and of itself isn't even just a feeling. That butterfly feeling and all that you get, that goes away quickly. And it ebbs and flows throughout the course of your relationship. You need to have things to stand on. You need to have a common, like I said, a common trajectory you're going in. It doesn't need to be identical, but we need to be walking together. We need to be going towards the same things. And money is a major thing. Money shouldn't rule you. Money shouldn't control you, and it shouldn't be something you worship. But it is a necessary asset to live in this life. And so, the older we get, the more that it matters, especially when you start thinking about, okay, you want to get married, that costs. You're going to have to find a place to live. We know that costs, especially nowadays. If you want kids, having kids is not cheap. And especially as you get older, you got to think about health issues. Like for me, when I had Christian, I was a high risk pregnancy and I was 27. And after that, I'm always going to be high risk because of certain health issues that I have that are just, they're not reversible. Now, my pregnancies don't always have to be you know, super crazy. But because of the health issues I have, any pregnancy I have, money is going to have to be decent, if not amazing, because I can't be out here grinding and working and doing all the stuff I normally do. So these are conversations that I have because it's like, you know, are you prepared to be the sole breadwinner when we're having kids? Because for the sake of my health and our child's health, I cannot work. Like that's something that the doctor's gonna say, you cannot do this. Like you gotta be, you know, laying low for your health and the baby. So if you're already coming into it like, oh, you gotta split everything down the middle, 50-50, da da da, you can't work for me because I'm not going to put myself in that position with a man who's not ready to step into that role. It doesn't mean that you can't prepare. So obviously, as I'm working and building my business, you know, it's my duty to be saving. It's my duty to make sure I'm a good financial steward. But sometimes things happen. Sometimes you can't always get the plan executed the way you want. So if I come to you as my husband, I say I'm pregnant, you know I have these health issues, but now you tight because I can't pull my 50, then I shouldn't have been married to you, period. Because if you are going to be so upset about being a provider, when I feel like a man should find pride and joy in that, to know that his wife and his kids are taken care of, then we got bigger issues to get to the bottom of as far as how we view life and the foundational parts of a relationship. You know, because I just wasn't raised in that kind of environment. Like my mom's very entrepreneurial, very enterprising. My dad is the same way. They make a great power team. They accomplished an amazing life for us as two immigrants in this country. But there were definitely seasons where my dad was a sole breadwinner and he made six figures and we were not struggling. Like, you know, and my mom did not have to work.
Come on.
And then there were seasons where.
And that's the key word. Oh, sorry. Come on, that's the key word. It's like you want to. Like, you got to find people who want to be men. And you can't make nobody be no provider. You can't make nobody want to have kids. Like, so that's another thing.
Exactly.
Like, you can't make someone do that. So that's another thing. It's like, I want to see. So that's why I try to tell my friends, like, no, like, don't make him do anything. You gotta watch him. Shout out to Judge Lynn Tola, my girl. You gotta watch and see what he gonna do. Is he gonna give you money? Is he gonna ask you, are you okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to be telling him, oh, I like this, I like that. Like, you could show it and have a conversation, but like, see what he brings to the table. See what he wants to do. Is he like, oh, I can't wait to have kids. I can't wait to have a family. If he don't say that's this, he don't want it.
Is he concerned about you too?
From my background, I had two kids. Ooh, I don't have two kids.
I
came from a two-parent household. And my dad is a provider. Okay, provider. My mom has money too, but he was like, you don't got to do it. And that's another thing too, what you were saying is like, I'm seeing if my man can't provide, because I already know when I'm pregnant, I don't want to work. I don't want to work, one, while I'm pregnant. Two, I want to homeschool my kids. I want my kids to be at home. Can you see me homeschool my kids? A lot of people can't. So I'm just trying.
You're very detailed. Like, you definitely can homeschool. Girl, if I can homeschool, you can do it.
Oh, well, no, not even detailed. I mean, like, do you see me as like me wanting to be a homeschool mom or something like that? Like, do you see that in me? That's what I was trying to ask.
I think I can, only because I know how much like you like to travel and live kind of like the unconventional life. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and so that's why I want to do it, right? Because you ain't gonna tell me my kids gotta be here, blah 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 blah, whatever.
Period.
But knowing that, and also travel with my kids, I want to homeschool my kids. So that's another reason I'm trying to see, like, yeah, of course, I can try to figure out how to make some money, but it's the thing like 50-50. Like, no, you need to be able to pay the rent, you need to be able to pay this. My stuff shouldn't be the reason why we can't afford it or something like that. Like, my stuff
Right.
should be extra. And so I want to make sure that you can do it. Whether if you, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. Well, no, I do care if you're an entrepreneur. Low key, I want somebody with. I don't care if you can make some money. I'm gonna just say that. Like, I don't really care if you're a doctor, but like, I don't. You could be a high earning person. Like, entrepreneurs is iffy, but what I'm saying is I don't care if you however you make your money. Like, I just hope that it can be able to sustain a lifestyle. And if you want all these kids and you want me to be a good mate to you and be able to have these kids and raise them and stuff like that, like, you need to be able to bring your share. And another thing is, women, no shade, no tea, in the relationship, women are the only ones that are having the kids. So I gotta risk my body, I gotta have this kid, I gotta have postpartum. You're not dealing with none of that. The least you could do is bring some money into the table. Y'all be like, what do you bring to the table? The whole dang baby, your whole legacy. That's what they be forgetting. Your woman creates the legacy that you're going to leave for your kids, that you're going to put your mark on. Your legacy is in your kids. Who has them? Your wife.
Not to mention that a woman
have a baby by me.
Amen. And not to mention that the woman makes a house a home. Like, there's just a different energy that a woman brings into a home to make it cohesive. Like, you can walk into a man's house 9 times out of 10 when he's a bachelor and it's got bachelor written all over it. From the time you are on the doorstep,
they don't even have no headboard. What are you doing?
Okay.
They don't no headboard. They don't got no place to dine. They only got plastic cups and plastic silverware. Now, I do have plastic, but I also have regular too. Okay, you got both.
You're like, don't get it twisted, baby.
Okay, I got
regular dining.
You ain't got no couch in the living room. Where you sit at?
They sit on folding chairs from Walmart.
No pillows. How you only got one pillow?
You know your back is hurting. That's bad for your back.
Like, oh my God, bad for your back. Like, you ain't got no pillows for your girl. Like, what? Now, I don't know if I'm the most, I will say this, I don't know if I'm the most domestic person, so I don't know really how to I don't know if I'm really making my house a home, but I guess I see overall, it's like, okay, you want this to look like this, like you want it to be, like you want it to be able to feel good and kind of look good, and maybe because I don't got the money, I don't think about making a house in the home, but maybe when I have some money, I should be able to decorate and make the house the home and make it look all good, and I
think it's the ebb and flow of like a man and a woman together. Like, you just can't beat that. I'm sorry, like a man that really understands, like, and here we go with the feminine energy, but the man that really understands like that femininity that a woman brings, like, it's just different. Like, when y'all are cohesive together.
I'm over that conversation too. I don't want to. That's what it'd be like. If you have masculine energy, don't swipe. What is masculine energy? Because you want me to pay for the bill. That's why I got masculine energy. You want me to split 50-50? Feminine energy don't know how to split 50-50. Okay, baby.
Okay, I'm not reaching for my wallet.
Price range. I need to date in their price range.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
For masculinity by splitting the bills.
They in your price range. That's good right there. And I forgot to say this too when you were saying if love is enough or if love is blind. And when you said dating your price range, it made me think of this guy that was trying to date me earlier this year. And I cut him off like towards the summertime because he was of the mindset like love is enough, because he's a divorcee and also a single father at this point now. And he was going on and on about how his ex-wife basically money issues was big in their marriage, like because he's not in a career that he went to school for. Like, he's blue collar, but blue collar can make money. So I don't want to crap on blue collar workers, because there are blue collar workers that make money. Like a trade. But he's not in the trade he went to school for. So all of that contributed to the marriage falling apart. And I believe he said that she cheated on him multiple times, like basically had an affair, and money was kind of like the catalyst for that. And so after he told me all of that, we ended up having conversations about like money in relationships and stuff, and just, everything, money, sexual intimacy, faith, all that. And he was just like appalled by some of my comments in the conversation, because I was like, love is not enough and this and that. And he was just like, oh, I thought love would be enough. I'm like, sir, didn't you learn from the last marriage? Love is not enough. Like, love is not enough.
Love don't pay the bills.
Thank you. I'm like, this is why I really wanted to be like, this is why she cheated on you, but that would have been hitting below the belt. So I didn't say that. But I was just like, you have this fairy tale view of marriage, like, oh, we're just gonna be in love and cooking dinner together in the kitchen and dancing to R&B, and it's just gonna be amazing. No, like when them bills start coming, when Georgia Power is like, your bill is due, when the car is
Not
about to be
even when it's your
repossessed.
bills, when them lights is turned off, you be flicking, and you can't even have the light
Okay,
on. So
okay, your car
love
is
comes within
about
it.
to be repossessed.
Love
Mm-mm.
comes within it when everything else is together, and that's another thing too. When they talk about love is not enough, because it's like, okay, you know this person. What is love? And then it's going to change when you have kids, when people lose their jobs, when different things happen. So I understand love and supporting someone through something, but also it's like there's different dynamics and different things that happen, you know. But here's a good question I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to ask you: how important, or is it important to have the person of the same faith? Like, would you date someone who's a Muslim? Would you date someone who has a different religion than you?
Personally, me, I can't do it because my life is too rooted in Christ for me to do that, and it will just cause confusion in the home. Not that we couldn't raise kids together and live a good life together, but I feel like if you're really knee deep in whatever your faith is, it's probably best to find somebody who is aligned with that alongside with you, or at bare minimum is supportive of it and willing to walk that journey with you. Maybe they don't identify with a particular religion, but I personally couldn't do it. I know people who do, but I couldn't.
Okay.
What about you?
Trying to figure out if I'm there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I'm there because they said Muslim women. They said the Muslim men be treating the women like queens, and these
I
Christian men don't be.
have heard that.
So you know that
But I mean, I would
Muslim
say,
men, they be getting price and everything like that. These Christian men, they be cheating on your dog, and y'all having babies on your everything. So
but that happens with Muslim men too. So I would say like you
well,
really
they might
can't
have more
like
than
it.
one wife. Now I don't really know too much about it, but I was like, they treat you like that, so I don't want to compare. But yeah, it could be separate. But I'm just like the Christian men, they be taking you to the ringer. Them sometimes be the worst men.
Well, what you don't want to do, I know for me, my sweet spot with men, as far as their faith, are men who have a personal relationship with God, but they're not churchy. I feel like there's a difference between a guy who's like, oh yeah, I grew up in the church and he's the upcoming, the next bishop, the next apostle. He always got a word for you, always trying to lay hands. Like I can't do that. That's too much. But if you're someone who I got to be able to pray with you, period, because that's literally how I've been making it through life. I got to be able to, if something is going left and I'm like, the Lord's laid it upon me to fast and you feel led to fast, we should be able to do that together. Or at least you support that.
Which
I
I
gotta
don't
be able
support
to
from a
talk.
father because I can't be fast.
Fasting is good, girl.
I do.
Fasting
Well,
is a
I
game
fast.
changer.
My dad, he talking about 3 day fast. Well, Dad, I support you.
Like a water
A
fast?
3 day fast. No water, no nothing, girl, nothing.
No water. Oh, your dad, he's an OG.
I think it's just water. Yeah, some water, or he'll just do something to after 6 o'clock. But baby, he be doing no water. I'd be like, ooh, 3 day fast, ooh, child.
Oh, he's an OG. Your dad got it. He got it with that
He do
one.
fast a lot. He do fast a lot.
But I need to have that. I need to be able to read the Bible with you. So because when I was in my 20s, I dated like two Muslim guys. One of them, he was a whore, flat out. He was a flat out whore. And the the other one, it just was too much friction. Like and I wasn't even as solid in my faith then. Like I was always a believer, but I wasn't as mature in my faith. But yeah, it just was too much. So I would just say, just know what you need and get to the bottom of like, what do you see yourself raising your kids as? Like, what do you want your lifestyle to be like, basically?
Yeah, true. Yeah, and as we're wrapping up, we've been on this live for a while. Thank y'all so much for listening.
Yeah.
So we talked about the horror. We talked about.
Oh, I didn't even share the horror story.
Oh, okay. Share the horror story.
Okay, well, I'll just keep it brief. So one of my horror stories, I was dating this guy back in like 2010, 2011, and we met on, I want to say Black Planet or something. It was like an OG site, but we met on there. We were talking, everything was cool. And one night he asked me to meet him up at Georgetown. No, I'm sorry, George Washington University in Washington, D.C., because that's where I'm originally from. And so I didn't think anything of it when he told me to park in the back of the building, because if anyone's been to D.C., a lot of times people park in like the alleyways behind the building or at the side of the building or whatever. And I knew he worked there late night. So I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So I pull up, park behind the building, and all of a sudden, as I'm parking and getting out the car, I see this group of women walking from one end of the alley, and they look like they're angry, but I was like, okay, it's only me in the alleyway, so they can't possibly be mad at me. So as they're getting closer and closer, I see the guy that I was talking to and dating coming from the other end of the alley. And they're coming closer and closer. He's coming closer and closer. They finally approach me and they're like, "Are you Rondell?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." Like, "How do you know my name? That's weird." And they're like, "Oh, do you know such and such?" And he's not close to me yet, but he's approaching. I was like, "Yeah." Like, I came here to see him. And there were it was his, basically his baby mama, his sister, and like her cousins or something like that. It was like five or six of them. And they were like, "Well, he's taken, this is his baby mama or his girl or whatever. They've been together so many years, blah, blah, blah." And they came to fight, y'all. They were going to beat me to a pulp. Like, they literally were going to whoop my behind in that alley and leave me for dead. And basically, I see him approaching, and I'm just like, "Oh, such and such." And he's like, "Who are you?" Acting like he don't know me. I'm just like, "What do you mean, who are you? It's Rondell." And so that's when they basically told me, like, "Yeah, we came here to whoop your behind. But we could tell that you're really confused here. You don't know what's going on." And then they basically were just like, "Yeah, make sure with these guys, like, you get to the bottom of it. Make sure you do your due diligence because we really came here to hurt you tonight." So that
Hurt
was
you
nothing
for
but,
what
and
though?
that's the thing about it for me. I'm just like, I literally, one, could have lost my life because this dude decided to lie and
Yeah, so it's like,
and
did he
you know,
set
live a
you
double
up?
life.
Like he set you up to get beat up?
No, she went through his phone. His baby mama went through his phone and
But
saw that
just
we were texting and
right
stuff.
then though, and so oh, so maybe he was tapping. She like tapped his phone or something
No, they
to be.
lived to they lived together because he told me he lived with his mother. He lived like maybe 10, 15 minutes from me. He was like, "Oh, I live with my mom," but he never let me come over. I was young. I was like 21 when
But
this
my
happened.
thing is, they be having so much energy for you, but they don't have no energy for him. So you was gonna beat her for that, the girl that you don't even know.
Thank you. And that's my thing about it. And so I told him, I was like, I didn't even know he had a woman. I was like, I literally asked him several times if he was single. He said yes, he lived with his mom. I showed him the text messages and everything. So then
So where was
his
he
baby
at?
mama, he was right there when all this was happening. So his baby mama pulled him to the side and she was like slapping him beside the head, like, "Oh, you keep cheating on me and this and that, da da da." And I think she was pregnant again, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a daughter already. And
And she
all of
was
it started to make
pregnant.
sense. Yeah. And I'm like, all of this it started to make sense. I'm like, this is why he never wanted me to like come over. He never wanted to, like talk after certain hours and stuff. Cause I'm like, you got a whole child and another one on the way.
They
You live
do
with your
say
baby
after,
mama.
yeah, they be like, if he can't talk at a certain time, he has it. But my whole thing is, so he told you to come to his workplace. So you
Hmm.
must have been tapping his phone to meet to be at the.
No, I think what happened, she texted me from his phone to make it seem like he texted me to come because they basically knew that they were gonna come and beat me up and leave me for dead in the alley. And so
Oh.
yeah, so then he's coming outside. I think what probably happened was like they probably got there early enough to where they go to his office and they're like, "Oh, we about to settle this and that," and that's why he came outside, you know. But I'm just like, why are you coming towards me to hurt me when that's your man? Like, I didn't know that you were with him. That's not even my style. I don't even like a man that got too much competition.
Crazy.
Like,
Did
it
he
was
say
very.
anything to you after that?
I think he tried to text me like 2 days after that, but he was blocked. That's the one dude I did block for sure. Because I was like, nah, I literally could have died. Like, they came to literally beat me until
Like
Lord knows
five
what
of
happened.
them. Like,
Yeah.
where's the energy
Hmm.
for be him? Shoot.
That's what I'm saying.
Get your kid and go. Actually, I don't promote violence,
Hmm.
so don't listen to this part. But break up with him and you
But
don't have another kid with him? He's been cheating on you.
right,
So
I'm
that's
like
what,
he.
that's something I don't understand. Women like y'all want to get the girl so bad. The girl didn't do nothing. The girl don't even know. So y'all let these men play in y'all faces and y'all be mad at the next woman.
Hmm.
She's this, she's this, she's that. Well, guess what? He was with her and he was talking to her.
Hmm. Yep. So
Humble
that
you.
was a scary experience.
That does sound scary. That sounds so scary, baby. Baby, when I would have seen the alley, I'd be like, nope. Turn
But I'm
back to
like,
reverse.
but the thing is, it's like where George Washington University is in DC, like it's not abnormal to see people walking in the alley and stuff. So that's why I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, they're probably college students, or they're probably going to a bar, so because that's DC. People cut through an alley to make it a shorter walk, or walk to their car or whatever. So, but I'm just like, nah, like they look like they coming for me. Like as they get closer, I'm like, they look like they're coming for me, and
They
what they
probably
got
done
about me?
looked you up and everything,
Yeah.
seen your pictures, but I don't know if your pictures out and everything like that. They probably was looking at everything. They was like, yep, that's her. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
She texted you from his phone.
Mhm. And she was like, "Let me know when you make it here." So I was like, "Okay." So that's on like I think that they got to his house. I mean, not his house. They got to his office, and then we're like, "Yeah, we about to get this girl and all that." So that's why he came outside because he probably wanted to be like, "Okay, what's about to happen here?"
Yeah.
Type of
And,
deal.
but that's all my thing is like, so he wasn't seeing these text messages. That's like the only thing I think about him. Like he wasn't seeing these text messages that he didn't have his phone. That's what I would have been so confused about. Like
Well,
what?
the way she was slapping him up when I was there, she probably like demanded that he gave her the phone. It was like, I'm a texter and you gonna go like she seemed like one of them types, like basically had him by the balls type.
But he needs to leave too. Sounds like domestic violence, and that is it's October
Hmm.
when if you getting abused, leave. But okay, I can see that. But it's like he's seen something though to come out or something to come out to be
Hmm.
like, oh, okay. But she's slapping him
Hmm.
like, ooh,
It
child,
was
y'all,
a lot going on. So after that, that's when I really was like, yeah, I'm investigating anybody I date. Like I'm doing all the work that I can possibly
Well,
do. I'm asking all the
how do
questions.
tell the girls how do you investigate what you do how so they can know what to do.
Well, there used to be a free app called Free Background Check or something, but now you got to pay for that. Which I mean, it's not super expensive. If you want to do a light search, you could pay like $1 or $2 or something like that, and it gives you the basics you need to know. Because girl, I have another story real quick. I was dating this guy in the Richmond area in Virginia. He is a scammer, like a lifelong scammer. I'm sure he's still scamming, and he lives in Georgia now too.
Oh,
Last
he's
time I
scamming.
heard. You said, "Oh, he's scamming." Say less. But he's somewhere in the Atlanta area last time I heard. But this is back in, I want to say 2011 or 12. And he was trying to see me one night. He gave me his address. I looked it up and it actually had like his mother's name attached to it. But I pull up to the house and it's a whole white family in there watching TV. I'm literally on these people's driveway. Like, thank goodness I didn't ring the doorbell or anything like right away. Something told me just look through like the little side window by the front door. And I was like, this don't look nothing like his family. Like, I don't see nobody familiar, nothing at all. I'm calling him. I'm like, where are you at? He's not answering the phone. Then he contacts me like 2 days later. And he's like, oh, sorry, this, that happened, blah, blah, blah. He was basically trying to get money out of me, but it didn't work. But
How is he trying
he,
to get money out of you going to that house?
yeah, so basically what he wanted to do was get me to come to the house, more than likely probably sleep with me, of course. And then he would have did what he did after that, which is when he contacted me 2 days later and asked for $500 for some emergency he said it was or something. And I was like, I don't have $500. So
I ain't got a
but
dollar. Hold on, but the house
okay,
wasn't even his though. So like, where was
it
Regina
wasn't even
at?
his.
Girl,
I don't know where he was.
you be doing it, baby, because I be too dang scared. I'm not going to no house. I'm not doing none of that. That must have been in your younger days, baby, because I'm not going. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. I'm not driving to nobody's house. That sounds too scary. Sketch, I'm not meeting you at your house. I'm not doing none of that. And I definitely
This was like
don't give you no money.
this was oh heck no. This was like 11, 12 years ago. So yeah, I was definitely much younger, but you
You was
know, I
outside.
was outside, honey. Okay, like when I was in my like late teens to early 20s, up until I was 23, because that's when I met my ex fiance. I was outside. I got stories for days. Like,
I'm
I got
outside. I
stories
be
for days.
inside for real, for real. So I be chilling. Yeah.
I'm chilling now. I'm low key. Like I said, I don't even have a lofty roster like I used to have. I got like
Yeah,
two
I
dudes
need to
on
get
my.
my roster up, but I'm like, I can't even get my roster up. The dudes that I see are not quality.
You gotta go. Well, I can't even say. Well, no, find a nice hotel. Find a nice hotel in your area and go to like the restaurant area.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do that.
that would make a difference.
So we gonna see. We gonna see. I
Yeah,
got a lot going on right now, but we gonna see. Maybe next week or next year.
yeah,
We gonna
and
see.
just get or next year I'm done, or just get
Well,
yourself
next
an
week is my
appetizer.
homecoming, so I'm really trying to manifest me a man at homecoming.
Oh,
I'm
you
trying to
did want to
manifest
talk
me a
about
husband.
homecoming. So,
Oh
are you gonna get you a
yes.
boo?
You said
Are
what?
you gonna get you a boo at homecoming?
Oh yes, I'm manifesting a man at homecoming. I'm going to some mixers, some networking events. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna be trying to scope the scene, see who the men with money is. They come back, see what jobs they got, see who back in the city. And I'm gonna try to piece it
Looking
out.
for the sugar daddy.
Okay, unless we're gonna be in Miami. So yeah, I'm trying to see. But if that don't work, then I'm like, oh, maybe next year I'm gonna have to go to those hotels. But next week I'm gonna try to snatch one up. We're gonna see if I can snatch
Yes.
somebody. It is in person. We could talk. I can feel a vibe. I don't gotta do all this other stuff online.
Yes.
And hopefully they there. So we gonna see. So yeah, we're gonna see.
Yes.
So yeah.
I know that's right. Well, definitely keep us posted. And I did want to touch on what Keesley
Yeah,
submitted
I was gonna say yes.
about.
Like we could wrap it up with that one, and yeah, talking about switching from that. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so you guys let us know in the comments your thoughts on this, your advice. But so Keezy wrote in, "Hey girl," and she asked like, "How do you navigate roles in a relationship when you've been single for a long time? You're used to doing things on your own, being super hyper independent, whatever, and now you have this man in your life who is like a man, like he wants to help, he wants to take the load off of you, but there might be a
It's a
power
healthy
struggle."
relationship.
Yes, like how do you navigate switching from always doing everything on your own to trusting him to take on that role of like leading and protecting and providing and all that kind of
So if anybody has any answers in the comments, because I told her I do not know.
stuff? I would say for me, um I'm kind of in that space myself now too, so I don't have like world class advice, but I would say like one, definitely check yourself and just be like, okay, I know I've had to carry the load all this time, but I don't have to do all of that now. Like, if that man is showing himself to be trustworthy, he's showing himself to be genuine, like, allow yourself to be taken care of. Allow yourself to not always have to steer the wheel. Like, allow him to lead and to trust that. Because sometimes, too, it could be a power struggle because maybe you're very particular about how things are done. Like, you want it to be done a certain way. And that's something I've had to work on. I'm still working on because I like what I like and I like it to be done a certain way, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. So, it's just like if he can get it done and, he's willing to do it, let him do it. I think for me, it could be a little scary, especially when you're talking about when you have kids. I know Keesley doesn't have kids, but for me, it's like, okay, I think about these things, Christian's getting older. I don't introduce him to guys I'm talking to unless it's really getting serious. He's only met like two guys I've dated in his entire life, and he didn't meet them as my boyfriends. I was like, oh, this is my friend. But I think about like his transition, like him getting used to a man being around all the time because his dad isn't around, for those that don't know. It's an absentee situation. So it's a lot. It's a lot to consider. Don't rush it. Don't, force it, but don't get in the way of someone taking care of you too. I feel like a lot of times we always have to wear the cape as women and we don't know how to burn the cape sometimes and just be taken care of,
Yeah, so I forgot kind of the question that she was asking her how to change it. Like, I don't know if she's always taking care of stuff for herself or whatever, but there was something that this girl wrote in this other group that I was in, and she was talking about how she wants to do stuff for her man and he doesn't allow her to do it. Like, he'll be like, oh, she'll like give him money for his haircut or whatever, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't let her pay for anything. She tried to pay for something like when they were all out at like the bowling alley, and he was like, no, don't pay for it or whatever. So also, if they want to operate in they, masculine, if they want to be like, I'm the breadwinner, whatever, that's cool. But one thing also, this is probably what I'm gonna have to work on. I don't know, but it's also maybe like being thoughtful, like shifting from single into a relationship, just being thoughtful. So it's like you don't have to always be like so not uptight, but like you don't always have to think about so much stuff, or if he's gonna take care of it. Just think about him like if you want to do something nice for him, as in a sense like this is what they say. This is not really what I said, but I'm gonna say I said it, But they like, okay, if he's like running out of stuff, like guys like that, like they don't want you to send them money for their haircut or whatever. Like if he's running out of something, you could buy that for him. If you're going to his house, you can be like, hey, do you want some food? Like if you see that he's running low on lotion or deodorant or something like that, or even if you feel like we talked about it earlier, the dude's gonna be having no pillows. Like, hey, here's some pillows for you. Being thoughtful. Like, I
Okay,
think that
period.
going back to me saying like, oh, I don't think I can make a house at home or whatever, but I always see something like that, like, dude, your pillows. Now, would I buy pillows? I don't know, but maybe I would though. But it's like showing like you care for him and that like you think about him. I think that is kind of bigger for guys because talking to guys, they're like, oh, they just want to be thought about. So like,
Yeah.
saying something nice to them, bringing them something like that, or maybe like buying something that they could use, like a gadget or something like that. I think navigating that, like shifting, like not thinking about yourself, but instead of like having to do like big or grandiose things or something like that, just think about like the little things. Maybe if he says he likes something, maybe you just can surprise him with that one day, and just try to figure out different ways to kind of let him lead, because I'm all about a man leading, because you can lead. I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead a family. I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead. I don't want to be in charge. Okay.
Period.
Just give him more autonomy or whatever give him more autonomy. Or when he be like, oh, you want to go here to there? Be like, okay, I want to do this, you know? That can help men too, because they always like, women don't know what they want to do. Well, they ain't never met me, girl, because I know what I want to do, okay?
You like, take me here. That's me. Intentional and functional gifts.
I already know what I want for my Christmas present, my birthday present. I already know where I want to go to.
Yeah.
I ain't got nobody even buy it for me. But baby, when she asks, it's gonna be there. Okay.
It's a wrap. It is a wrap. So you wouldn't buy your man some pillows or bring him some soap?
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Well, my friends said intentional and functional gifts are always good. I wouldn't think about buying that for somebody. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't buy him a pillow, but I wouldn't think about buying little things for him, because I'm like, well, dang, why don't he have no pillow, you know? But going back, like, it's the man cave. Like, why he got a pillow? Meanwhile, I got 4 pillows, you know? I wouldn't think like a man don't have pillows. Like, I would just be like, huh? But I guess see my brothers, I'm like, okay, I can see dudes don't have pillows. So then I'm saying I might go and buy him a pillow. But my dude, he may like that I pay for his haircut. I don't know if I would pay for a guy's haircut or whatever, but I'm just saying different things. Like, I feel like picking up on something that they like, but it is more functional. Like, you gonna buy that man socks? It's cold. He talking about he cold. Why ain't you ain't got no socks?
I think I'm really good in that area, but it's more so from a selfish point, because when I come to your house, I want to be comfortable. So I'm gonna buy the pillows, so I got back support. I'm gonna make sure that I buy the soap I like to smell.
It's for you. It's for you.
So I think I'm pretty good with that. But that's like after we're together.
Yeah,
like when we're just dating.
Like going over doing that. Like, I wouldn't just do it for a random dude, but that's what I'm saying. I ain't never been in that situation to be like, okay, let me buy you stuff for this or whatever. Yeah, so it's just like, okay, I can see, because some dudes, they'll be okay with that, or like, okay, if I am cooking, now I don't know, because some dudes, they be trying to invite themselves over, like, when I'm cooking, they be like, oh, can I have some? I be like, no, you cannot have them.
Where my plate at?
Like, no, it's like, where's your plate at? I guess in your oven that you forgot to cook for yourself. You're not my man. So it's like that, like that's a turn off. Like, first of all, I don't like to cook. So you ask me where your plate at, that's more food I gotta prepare. Nothing. Like, I don't want to do it. Whereas
where my plate at, where my hug at.
Whereas what'd you say?
No, I said I can't stand a where my type dude, like where my plate
like,
at.
Whereas if we were dating and maybe you was over here, but this one girl said, and it was a long feed. This one girl was like, I ate my food in front of him. He asked me where his plate is, but he didn't put in on it.
Dang.
In front of him, she's like, I don't make plates for people who are my man. Like, I was like, now, that's crazy.
Dang. That's savage.
Crazy. But it's true. It's like, but if you're over, then I would probably do it. But it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna make a plate for you. You want to come over? You can have some.
Right.
It's not like I'm cooking for you or like I'm bringing you some food. Like, yeah, but also it's like women can do, more things than cook. I don't really want to cook. That's not really my trick. Like, I don't want to have to be in the kitchen slaving over 4.5 hours for some food. Like, that's just not what I want to do. I know if I have to, I'm going to have to cook. But, I'm not, that's not my ministry. Like, my ministry.
I was told. Oh, go ahead. I didn't hear that.
Oh, no. Like, my ministry is like a chef, somebody to cook the food for me. I can just eat.
I've always been blessed to be with men who love to cook and can cook. Because I'm more of a clean freak. I know how to cook. I can cook, but I'm a cook you a hot meal every night type of woman. You're going to be eating these leftovers and we're going to call it a day. So, thankfully, up until this point, all the men I've been in a relationship with were the cooks of the house. And I was very happy with that. But now when it comes to cleaning, I got to clean. Like, I'm a clean freak. I'm really OCD about that. So every week I'm on point with that. But the cooking, yeah.
I'm not very domesticated. I will clean, but I'm also, honestly, that's why I'm like, I'm about to bring money. I don't really, and it's I don't enjoy it. So honestly, I don't want to cook nor clean.
I don't enjoy
I don't want to
do either.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Because it keeps on getting messed up. Like, I'm tired of cleaning up. I'm tired of cleaning up.
The only time I enjoy cleaning is like if I'm listening to a podcast or on the phone.
Well, that's only how I can clean everything. If I'm listening to a podcast, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
That's only how I can really get through it. Podcast, phone, because it's like just like washing your clothes, you gotta wash them, then you gotta dry them, then you gotta fold them, then you gotta put them. It's just too much. So, like,
I just need a housekeeper. I need someone.
Yeah, I need a housekeeper and a chef, and that's gonna be right in my life. That's why I'm about to be in the Caribbean, because they get help over there, baby.
Come on now.
So somewhere I'm about to be somewhere where I can get some help.
Well, my family is moving back.
Yeah, so then you want to add kids to the thing? Like, no, ma'am.
What? Add kids to what?
Add
moving
kids
back.
to the pile of I'm going to have to keep on taking care of them.
But see, when they get old enough,
We
they're
need some
doing
help.
some of the housework.
We need some help. Okay, well then they can be the house cleaners. That's rude because I like my life to go. Oh, clean the dishes. Clean. There ain't my dang dishes. Shoot.
Okay.
I hated that.
Kids are.
Oh yeah, but your
kids
family
are-
is moving back next year, aren't you moving? Or you don't know if you're moving back yet?
I'm gonna split my time, so I'm gonna be spending part of the year here, part of the year there.
Okay, period. Are you going there this year or no? It's next year.
Yeah, in December.
This year.
I'm spending the month of December there. My mom's leaving November 5th or something like that. She's spending like 2 months.
That's so cool. It's so cool. But we
Mm.
can talk about that offline because I'm about to be in the
I
kitchen.
know, right?
But yeah. But hopefully y'all enjoy because I gotta get some dinner. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. If you have, anything you want to chat about, put it in the comments. Thank y'all for joining. I know we were on here for a long time. So dating is spooky after all, but hopefully we can come out on top and we can rise up and have great relationships so we don't have to keep talking about this topic anymore, okay?
There's hope out
But if you want to go to
there,
Cheesecake
y'all.
Factory, eat cheesecake. What did you say?
No, I said there's hope out there.
Oh yeah, that's probably. If you want to eat cheese, if you want to go to the park, have fun doing that. If you want your man to pay for the bills, have fun doing that. 50-50. We don't do that, but somebody else do. Okay, so make sure to listen to the podcast Millennial Thoughts on all platforms. Make sure to follow me. If you don't, Millennial Thoughts Pod. I am starting a new season all about mental health next year. And so I'll be doing some lives as well. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to come back for more. And I will let Rondell tell her stuff, and then we'll close out.
Make sure you follow my page too. Like I said, Single Setting in the City is very event based. So we are doing traveling meetups next year. Lots of travel, lots of meetups in different cities. The getaway is postponed to 2025, but it's going to be a lot of experiences and travel. So if you like that, and by single I mean not engaged, not married, then come on down, follow us, and make sure you join the newsletter. Just enter your email anywhere on the site, singleandsavedinthecity.com. And then if you want to connect with me in other ways, just follow at official Rondell Martin on here. You'll see everything else I'm up to.
You moved the getaway to 2025?
Girl, yeah, you didn't get the email? I moved it back because people were like, we need more time, or that month doesn't, da, da, da. So registration is going to open in January, but we are going to travel next year, but I'm not going to release all that information right now because I don't want to overwhelm y'all. So I'll let you guys know.
No, I didn't see that email.
Yeah, I sent it yesterday.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't see it, because you sent it yesterday. Yesterday was a lot.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, I haven't checked my email for yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Because that was in March, right? No, it was in May.
May, yeah. So it's still going to be the same location, same all-inclusive, all that. I'm just pushing it back to give you guys more time to, get prepared, get your payments in and all that.
Yeah,
So,
that was
like
a lot, because I said, ooh, girl, I'm going to Ghana. So I had to figure out my Ghana. Yeah, I'm going to Ghana. And then I was trying to go to Mardi Gras or something like that. But that's cool. I need to talk to you offline if you're going to push that back, because I had a really good idea that I feel like we could do it together, but we can talk about that offline.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Nevertheless, please support us, follow us. Your fellow content creator. That's her. I'm not a content creator. I just talk. So yeah. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
See y'all.